Hi everyone! In this video I show you how to make a pineapple mural. This is my first English tutorial, it's a tryout, and already I want to apologize for all the mistakes I definitely will make because I'm not a native English speaker. But hopefully I can help out the people who are watching my videos and who do not speak and understand Dutch. In this video I use the alpha loom to make this pineapple. If you do not have an alpha loom, you can also use the regular rainbow loom. The alpha loom has 2 rows of 7 packs across from each other, and just find these 2 rows of 7 packs on the rainbow loom and remove the big blue base so you have space between those 2 rows, and you also have to remove the middle row. The big advantage of the alpha loom is the fact that the opening of the packs are at the front and not on the side. So when you use the alpha com, you can hook or loop, I don't know how you say it, 7 packs at once. So you hook 7 times faster than on the normal regular rainbow loom, and you cannot use the alpha com as I show you now for the regular rainbow loom. The packs are a little bit more far apart, and the opening, as I said before, is on the side. This is the schedule that I will follow for making the pineapple. We will make it starting at the top, so I use the schedule upside down if you look at the pineapple now. And when you make this pineapple on the regular rainbow loom, you can use double bands. I have not tried this out myself, but I already read from other people that it turned out great. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the schedule we are going to follow. As I said before, we make this pineapple from the top to the bottom. And we start row number 1 with 3 green X's, as you see in the video. I will fold away the leaves, we add those later. You see a little green X on the right, it's not supposed to be there. So I'll try to hide it. And because this is the beginning of the mural, we have to do something differently. So the first step is not row number 1, but something different. And that means you have to get 2 green bands, and the first one goes from pack number 3 to pack number 4, and the second one goes from pack number 4 to pack number 5. So pack number 3, 4 and 5 are joining the game of this project. And now you add a cap band on pack number 5, and that means you have to double the alpha band and make it even smaller. So this might be a bit difficult to do because you do not have much space. So another way to do it is to use your hook and then transfer the capped band to the back. Well, after you've done this, you go inside that cap band and you loop the green band to the left, and then you go with your hook inside the teardrop shape you made and loop the other band to the left as well. So in fact you looped a small single chain. And now we start to follow the schedule. Row number 1, you have to cross the alpha loom 3 times. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And now you loop the single chain, the tiny single chain, over the front row to the center of the alpha loom. Make sure you get all the bands. I have some difficulties on the left. There is one tiny band left, but now everything is looped and you can move it to the center of the green bands who are already there crossing the alpha loom. And now we can fold away row number 1, row number 2, 3 times yellow bands. But before we can add those little bands, we have to add a connector band. And I use a green alpha band as a connector band because I want to have a small connector band. and you put that alpha loom band, that alpha band, on pack number 3, 4 and 5 all together. And now we cross the alpha loom 3 times with a yellow band on pack number 3, pack number 4 and pack number 5. And when all 3 yellow bands are on the packs, you can move the green connector band to the center. And now you loop the bottom bands, the green bands, over the 3 packs to the center as well. And also on the other side. Push them down using the back of the alpha cam. And row number 2 can be folded to the back, and we continue with row number 3. And that means we have to place 3 orange bands and 2 yellow ones. But before we can put those 5 bands on the loom, we have to do something different. From now on, I use yellow regular rainbow loom bands as connector bands, but for this row I also add 2 yellow alpha bands. And we are going to do it like this. You double a alpha band, you can use your hook to do so, and then you transfer that doubled band on pack number 6, or to pack number 6. And now we do the same for pack number 2. So double it and transfer it to the pack. And now you take a regular yellow band and use it as a connector band. So put it on those 5 pins, pin number 2 to pin number 6. And after you've done that, you can loop the little alpha band over the pack on that connector band. Like so. And the reason that I decided to add those 2 little cap bands is that I wanted to be the pineapple to be more round at the top, so that we do not have a stairs shape but a nice smooth round shape. And this is my solution to have that shape. So now we are going to cross our alpha loom again from the front row to the back row, 3 times with orange and 2 times with yellow. And if you move the connector band to the center now, just be careful with those 2 little cap bands, because they have to move as well, like so. And now we have 3 bottom yellow bands we have to loop. And this time I use my hook to do so. So just loop those 3 yellow bands over the pack to the center. And also on the other side. This is the only row that I added those cap bands as well. So no more surprises from now on. We can fold away row number 3 and we continue with row number 4. First we start with a connector band, and then we just have to cross our alpha loom straight 7 times with yellow bands, and we put this connector band on all 7 pegs, because also peg number 1 and peg number 7 are joining the game now. And I just use one band as a connector band to keep the pineapple together, so that it will not be too wide. And now we just put 7 times alpha bands from the back row to the front row, or from the front row to the back row, it doesn't matter, as long as they are where they have to be. Right, now we move our connector band over the 7 pegs to the center, and we have 5 bands to loop over the pegs to the center. And I use the alpha comb to do this all at once. Push them all down with the back of the comb. I really like that. Also, when I make a mural with the regular loom, I like to use the alpha comb, the back of the alpha comb, to push everything down. We continue now with row number 5. And because this whole mural is symmetrical, it doesn't really matter if you keep moving your alpha loom. So you do not have to start at the same side every time. If it would not be a symmetrical pattern, then you have to be aware that you always start at the same side. But now it doesn't really matter. So we place 4 orange bands and 3 yellow bands. That's one disadvantage of those alpha bands, that they are very clingy to each other. After all the bands are put on the 7 pegs, you can move the connector band to the center and now use the comb to loop them all at once. You can also decide to use the alpha comb as a lever, as I show you now in the video. Sometimes I think it's easier to do so, because this way you don't have to be afraid that you also loop some top bands as well. And now push everything down again, and we can fold away row number 5 and continue with row number 6, just 7 times crossing the alpha loom with yellow bands. First a yellow connector band and then 7 times alpha bands. Move that connector band to the center, and I like to use my finger to do that instead of the alpha comb or a hook. And now just loop the 7 bottom bands over the pegs to the center. And push everything down. We are getting there. Fold away row number 6 and we continue with row number 7. 4 times yellow, 3 times orange. But first we start with a connector band. And then you can add the alpha bands and cross the loom from the back row to the front row, or from the front row to the back row. The more I use the alpha bands, the easier it gets to put them on the loom. Connect the band to the center and loop all 7 bands at once to the center as well. But in the beginning, when I first started to use the Alpha Loom, I really thought it was difficult. I found it difficult to put those small bands on the loom. We can fold away row number 8 and continue, no, row number 7, we continue with row number 8. And that means we just have to cross the loom 7 times with yellow bands. Connect the band to the center and loop the bottom bands over the pegs to the center as well. Push everything down. So let's see, row number 8 can be folded to the back, 3 rows to go. For row number 9, excuse me, we need 4 orange bands and 3 yellow bands. First one connector band, of course, and then we can cross the Alpha Loom again. And the last one. And now we can move the connector band to the center and use the comb to loop all 7 bands to the center as well. On both sides, of course. Row number 9 is finished. And we continue with row number 10, 7 times yellow bands. And actually this is the last row that all 14 pegs are included. So we start with a connector band over the first 7 pegs and then cross from the front row to the back row 7 times with yellow bands. And I have to add some more bands because I was out of bands, and I decide to show the package so my Dutch viewers would not just hear the sound of the plastic, but because I deleted that sound, you don't hear anything because I'm doing a voiceover now for this video. Okay, the connector band can be moved to the center, and I use the comb again to loop all 7 bands to the center as well. And now we are going to leave out pegs number 1 and pegs number 7 from the front and the back row. And we do it like this. Take your hook and move that band from peg number 7 to peg number 6 and loop the bottom band over the peg to the center. Do the same on the other side. The outside band goes 1 peg in the middle and you loop the band that is already on that peg over the newly placed band to the center. So move the band to the right in this case and loop the band that was already on that peg to the center. And now we only have 2 times 5 pegs in this game. Put the connector band over those 5 pegs of the front row and cross the loom 5 times. Start with orange, then yellow, then orange, yellow, and we finish with orange. Move the connector band to the center and loop all 5 bands to the center as well, on both sides. And now we have done all rows from our schedule. So now it's time to finish our little mural from the loom, to take it from the loom. But before we can do that, just move the front row totally to the back. So all 5 bands from the front row are put on the 5 bags of the back. You have an empty front row now, and we're going to make a little single chain just like when we started this mural. The first alpha band goes from pack number 2 to pack number 3, and then the second one goes from pack number 3 to pack number 4. And the third one goes from pack number 4 to pack number 5. The fourth and last one goes from pack number 5 to pack number 6. No cap band needed this time. Instead, you move all bands from the back row to the front row. And I like to do this one by one, because I do not want to lose any bands, and it's easier for me to do it one by one instead of moving them both at the same time. It takes a little bit longer, but it's safer, I think. And the last 2. Now you're going to loop that small single chain. So go inside pack number 7, go inside those 2 orange bands, fish out that yellow band and loop it to the left. Now you go inside all those bands, fish out the bottom yellow band and loop it to the left. And continue to do so until all yellow bands are looped. And now you finish it with one single alpha band. Put your hook in pack number 2. Make sure you are inside all those bands who are on that pack. And I think it's easier because everything is so tiny and small now to remove everything from the loom first and now loop the band, the alpha band, through all those bands, both ends on your hook, and make a slip knot. Pull tight and hide the band that is still on your hook. Now we have to stretch it a little bit in shape. And first I'm going to hide the band, and just hoping it will not pop out again when I stretch my pineapple into shape. Right, now we just have to add the leaves and then we're finished. So we're going only to use our hook and bands, of course, to add leaves. There are 3 little loops on top right now, and the first, or not loops but holes, I have to say, and the first hole I use to add 1 leaf, and then the other 2 holes on the right and on the left I use to add 2 leaves. So first I put my hook through the middle hole and just as a single chain I loop a green band through that hole, and I continue to do so for about 6 times. You just have to see what you like. I believe that after I looped 6 times I even removed one again, so it's very easy to adjust. Just see what you think is nicest for your pineapple. And when you have enough bands for your leaf, you just make a slip knot. I think it's even 7 times now, and then later on I remove one and make it into 6. So make a slip knot and do not hide that band yet, that little loop on top. We do that later, because otherwise you keep doing this because it keeps popping out. So I'm using that hole on the right to add 2 leaves in the same hole. And after I finished doing this one, I also ended with a slip knot. I use that same hole to add another leaf. So pause the video and do exactly the same for the left side as well. And I see you when you're done. You've added 5 leaves now, but there are still a few things that we have to do before this pineapple has its pineapple shape. First we're going to make sure that those 5 leaves are a little bit more together at the base. And this is how we are going to do it. You take 5 little alpha bands, 4 actually, I'm sorry, 4. And then you put your hook at the bottom of those leaves in 4 bands. There are actually 2 bands, but on your hook you see 4 little stripes. Now loop a band through them and keep both ends of those looped band on your hook. Stick your hook through the next band, and that looks like 2 stripes, and loop a band through all bands from your hook. This must sound very confusing. I think the best thing to do is just watch the video closely. So what we're going to do is we just loop 4 bands through the bottom of those 4 leaves so they are more together and not going their own way. So after you loop the last band, you make a slip knot. I'm so sorry, I cannot explain this in words. So I just hope the video can speak for itself. So this was our way to bind those 5 leaves a bit more together. And now that you finished doing so, you can hide that last band in the middle. And this is how your pineapple is looking so far. So you have a front and a back. This is the front, obviously. And I like the 2 leaves on each side to bend a little bit to the ground, to be bended down. So I'm going to do that first before I'm going to hide those last loops on top of the leaves, because otherwise they will pop out again for sure. And I do the same on the right. Just try to manipulate the bands the way you like them. Eventually you will win it. And I think now that I've done this, my middle leaf is too long, so I decide to remove one band, and luckily it's easy to do so. And now I'm going to hide all the top loops inside the leaves. And this will take a little while, I'm afraid. So I think for you it's best to pause the video again and hit the play button when you're done. Now our mural pineapple is finished. I really hope you like it and you were able to follow my Dutch English. Thank you for watching. Until the next video. Bye!